everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs, and I have a couple announcements today. They are going to be discontinuing the cling stamps, unfortunately, because of sourcing the rubber and all of that. So that's going to be being discontinued, so they're on a sale while supplies last. I don't know if they're on sale, but they're while supplies last. And also the Stampin' Write markers, because that's mostly what people use those for. So those are going to be on a last chance, okay? Also today, some of the products that I've been using, the new mini catalog and the online exclusives are available today. So please subscribe to my channel and like, and my website for my Stampin' Up! Store is below. Alright, so for this box, I'm using the Jar of Joy stamp set for the Snowman. I made side window boxes this time. I thought it was so cute so that we could have a full image on the front. I'm using the Perennial Postage dies for the side windows. And for the circles, I'm using the 2 3/8 circle punch, the Spotlight on Nature, and the Stylish Shapes dies. Alright, so our box measures 2.5 by 2 3/4 by 1.5. Opens like this. And inside I have some of the buttermints, the peppermint buttermints. I'm not sure if they're buttermints, but they're peppermints. And you could put the Starlight mints that you can see the mint through. I use this because I got a big package from Oriental Trading, so that's the ones I'm using. Alright, so what we need for this project is a piece of real red that is 8.5 by 6.5. We need 2 window sheets that are 1 1/4 by 2.5. Okay, the real red circle I cut with the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. Now this glitter paper, the silver glitter paper, is from my stash that I had from prior catalogs, and I used the Spotlight on Nature dies. This is 2 1/8. And then for the small circle that is 1 3/4 basic white, the Stylish Shapes dies. Alright, and then I'm using the North Pole Delivery Designer Series paper, which is adorable. And I figured this looked like snow. It would go perfect with the snowman. So we need 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 2.5. 2 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 2.5. And 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 1 1/4. Okay. Okay, let me get my Simply Scored. And we are going to start on the 8.5 inch side. Score at 1.5, 4, 5.5, and 8. Turn it to the 6.5 inch side and score at 1.5, 4 1/4, and 5 3/4. Okay, I'm going to fold and burnish my score lines. Okay, so your 1/2 inch rectangle is over here. There is 1.5 inch strips here and here, and a 3/4 inch strip at the top. And this is what we're going to be doing. Okay, so we're going to start over here, go to the first score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge both sides of that square. Go to the next 2 score lines, cut them to the first score line, and wedge that square. Go to that last score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge up a little bit. So that's our bottom. Now flip it over so that your 1/2 inch rectangle is on this side. We're going to count to the second score line, cut it to the second score line, and take these 4 pieces off. And then wedge up on this piece of the 1/2 inch rectangle. Okay, go to the next score line, cut it to the second score line, take off the rectangle, and wedge the square. Okay, go to that last score line, cut it to the second score line, take off the rectangle, and wedge the square. Okay, now we want to round the corners of this top flap. Okay, so this is what your cardstock should look like when you're done cutting. Okay, now we need to put the two side pieces on. Here and here, and these two are 1 1/4 by 2 1/2, and we're going to attach them right there. Try not to use too much glue because it will squeeze out when we're cutting the window out. You can also use your Stampin' Seal Plus if you want to. Alright, I'm just going to wait a little while for them to dry. And then I'm going to take this die from the Perennial Postage die set. Now the die is about 1 7/8 by 3/4. So I'm just going to tape this one down, and then I'll do it for the other side. You just have to fold this piece down to get it to fit through the machine. Okay, and this is what your cardstock will look like when you're finished cutting out the windows. Okay, now we're going to flip it over, and we're going to get our window sheets, and I'm just going to put a very thin line around the edge of the window on each side, and then I'm going to pop the window sheet right on top. And we'll wait just a little while for that to dry. Okay, now we're going to flip it back over. Now when we put this together, some of this side piece is going to show. Alright, now I could have made it 8 1/4 instead of 8 1/2, which I probably should have done. But first I'm going to put my tear and tape on as close to that score line as I can get it, and then it gives you just a little easier way of putting it on. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut that edge off. That does not have tape on it. And then take the backing off. Okay, flip over the whole thing, and then the side with the tape and the other side to meet it, and then nothing shows in our window. Okay, so this is our front. The seam is back here, so we're going to put this flap down first. Okay, now we need the rest of our DSP. These pieces are going to go on the top and bottom side, and these are going to go on the front and back. Okay, and there we have our side window box. Alright, now we're going to let that dry, and we're going to do some stamping. Okay, these two we're not going to stamp on. We're going to be stamping on our small basic white circle, which is 1 3/4 inches. And I need a little bit of scrap behind it. First we're going to do basic black. And I'm going to stamp our snowman on top. Tuxedo Black Ink, I'm sorry. And then we need real red ink and the scarf and hat band. Okay, and it's kind of hard to get it exactly right. The scarf is pretty forgiving, but I'm just going to take my Real Red marker and fill in a little bit of the hat band if it didn't get on there exactly straight. All right, now we need the light Pool Party, and I'm going to fill in the bottom underneath that line of the snow. Now at this point you can use the stamp set and some Pool Party ink to put snow on either side, but I'm just going to leave it plain. And then I'm going to use dark pumpkin pie on the nose. Okay, I'm just attaching the glitter paper, which is from the Spotlight on Nature's dies 2 1/8 inch circle, onto the Real Red 2 3/8 inch circle punch circle. And then I'm going to get some dimensionals and put them on the back of our snowman. And I'm going to put that right in the middle of that. There we go. Okay, now let that set a minute. I'm going to take some of our Real Red shiny ribbon and tie a bow inside the top of the box. Okay. And then put some more dimensionals on the back of our circles. And put that right on the top. Okay, and for the final touch, I'm going to use some of our red and white peppermints. And I'm going to put a large one there, a small one right there, and a medium one right there. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and I will see you next time. Bye.